Hello and welcome to poetry reading here with me, the shoebox poet, Clarence Plank. Need to get my reading glasses. So, we are going to have a lot of fun tonight. We are going to pick up on one more turn. One more turn. Maybe things will be different. Perhaps my love will be strong enough. Or I'll be able to be enough to push away shadows. Another pretty face and a reason to find a solution. At the bottom of a bottle. She didn't see how beautiful she is in my eyes. Where you dream or today dream about waking up next to a goddess. Countless dreams all burn in the morning light, like nightmares melting in the webs of a dream catcher. For a moment or a night, just to hold her in my arms for one more day, passes me by trying to find the courage to tell her how I feel. 3 simple words that get lost in my throat. I find myself drowning in her smile, trying to swim against the currents of shifting tides hidden within my head because I'm caught up in you. And basically this right here poem is about being in love with a woman who doesn't really see the value in herself. And so she starts, dipping into things that, or any vices that basically hurt her in some other way. And even though, you try to, support her and help her, but, she still wants to turn to those things. This next one is called Deep Dreaming Bliss. Now, basically, this right here was probably a word prompt because both of these, talk about the dreams and stuff. So, where it mentioned dream is basically what the word prompt was that I was tying this poem in with one more turn, and then this one right here with dreaming bliss. I was sleepwalking, happy in my slumber, with my deep dreaming bliss, and with the touch of your hand, you woke me up from a dream. Ever since then, I've been living in a nightmare existence without you. I should have kissed you. Something simple, perhaps. I would have fallen back to sleep and continued dreaming of a world in ignorance. And basically, this is talking about, being with someone this is basically based off of this girl that I knew and how the situation that happened, it awoken something in me that I really wasn't used to because when you're someone like me who hasn't really had a situation where a woman likes you and generally likes you and wants to get to know you and everything, you kind of like, when something like this happens, you're like, wait, did you really? Wait a minute, did? But I picked up on this at the beginning of the thing, so unfortunately just things petered out. So in doing that, though, it left me with awakening, feeling of being awakened and into this, this thing of lack, because this person is not here. So now I gotta deal with the feelings that I caught from this situation. This next poem is called Beneath My Skin. I used to be someone you loved, the person you once knew. I was your knight in shining armor. What was it that changed between us? Am I not the same man you knew beneath this skin, to where this heart beats? What changed for you to see me in a different light? I'm not perfect, and nor did I claim to be. You got mad because I challenged you on the things you thought were real. I'm not responsible for the image your mind creates of me. I wanted a life like you, with you, something more. However, over time, you thought I could fit into your square hole, into a square circle hole. You tried to pigeonhole me. You tried to pigeonhole me into. You know that's not me, like it wasn't you. But there we were. I was a fool to think love will conquer all, and now overlook your imperfections of all your mistakes. Only you were the one, secretly holding a list of all the wrongs I did, because you've been searching for an out since the beginning. And this was your chance, making me the person you just loved, just a stranger, sleeping next to you in the dark while you dreamed of someone else. Another knight in Charmin armor to win the day from the person you used to love. And it was a different situation for things, because this talks about my ex-fiance. And relationships are kind of funky because you want to be with somebody and everything, and you want to try and do stuff to help the relationship to last. But the thing of it is, though, it doesn't last. It doesn't work out. So there were two people in a relationship, but sometimes you feel like there was just one. And that's the way I felt sometimes, because I was the only one fighting for things that it felt like. Now, she may have been fighting for things in her own way, but I never know, because we couldn't communicate that. So it was bad on both of us in not trying to work things out. But it made me sense that when you blame somebody for your problems when it's not your problems. And there was a lot of times it was just like that. And it's like, if you want to go, just go. You don't have to try and berate me. You don't have to try and be all these things. Just go. So, this next poem is called Without Crazy. Kisses, wishes, and dimples. Dreams of madness without crazy. It's an ocean, and some people drown while standing on the shore. They swim in the shallows, barely above their ankles. Yet they tell you about stories about the vast rivers they've crossed, to only find nothing waiting for them on the other side. Now, basically this talks about how people, how shallow they are in their relationships with people or even each other. And, they're sitting here, they're standing in the shallows, and they're like, oh, hey, come on, let's go into the deep together. But, you're swimming out to the deep, and they're standing there in the shallows, just sitting there having a funky good time. And you're just like, what the fuck? Whatever. This next one's called, Is This a Fantasy? White lace and trim, all the things purest know. Winter kisses, is this a fantasy? To look into your eyes and seeing something magnificent to behold. And this right here is for the word prompt of winter kisses. And, I kind of like played with it, keeping a theme of how you see somebody and falling in love with them, and they're the most magnificent person you've ever seen, because you're in, the chemicals you see or experience is just you wanting them. Where I Lost the Fire is the next poem. Searching for hope again because something happened. Where I lost the fire being me. My wings are not clipped, I kept telling myself. So why can't I fly? What grounded me? Losing everything that I held dear. What was the nail in the coffin? But I live, and that is my choice. I desire to write. Only to stare at a blank screen. The cursor flashes upon the screen. Books don't write themselves, nor do pages sprout ink. No music or rhymes move my needle to inspire me. And this is basically going through a situation where I was, I figured I was done writing poetry. So this right here would have been the last book. And it says, the Death of a Gentleman would have been the last book. And this is it, would have been it. But, I sit there and I endeavored to write other things, and the inspiration never came. Those words just never flew, never went. And I'm just sitting there, that's like, well, shit. So, and then, you're losing the fire of things, trying to find inspiration. So, And no matter how you sit there and you look at at a blank page until your forehead bleeds, it doesn't put ink on the page. This one's called Along the Way. Drifting on a cascade of merit along the way. Somewhere between a fantasy and a dream, that's where I find you. I become lost in my head because holding you is something of a mystery that I long to solve, knowing how you feel wrapped up in my arms. I can't reason or grasp how a woman feels because I have lost the imagination to recall the brilliant sensation of tracing your silhouette beneath my fingers and all the pieces of her. I want to feel, even if it's just for a mere moment, that we touched in some form or another. Whether it was the brush of your hand, mine upon your leg, the feel of your hugs, because my soul aches to read the words written beneath your skin when your goosebumps rise. And this book is about, this poem is about the situationship I had and wanting basically to have that tender moment where, or have something where it's anybody at this point, because you're just like, there are certain things you forget being in a relationship with someone, being without a relationship with someone, or even a friendship matter, because when you don't have that that feel of reassurance as a human being, let's just say, and hugging or touching someone or being around somebody, it's just those things you miss. And that's what that poem's about. On the Road is this next poem. Do you know how hard it is trying to not think about things when you're on the road? Deep down you think about life and how the minutes tick away. When you're alone in your head for hours, you dwell on things, life and death and all the complexity of it, while concentrating on everything else going on around you. Because you think about people, places, things, your past, the present, and the future, and all the anxiety and depression that comes with the wonder of it all. Not where did I go wrong, nor how did I get here, only what do I do from here. As they extend beyond things, your imagination plays around with all the thoughts you have, and they run through your head like a freight train hell-bent on reaching the next station. I often wonder what it would be like to meet someone, date someone again. Then a voice inside your head says, do you have time left? You're not getting any younger. Kids are becoming a faded dream because the older you get, the less time you will have to be in a part of their lives. You wonder where I can afford a house, a life, as you try to rub 2 cents together to make a living, even worse, when you have a bad day and you replay the events that triggered you, making you angrier by the mile. You close your eyes and hope there's enough time left in your body to accomplish what dreams remain inside your heart. And this is basically when I was doing deliveries and stuff, and I was driving along, and so you have a lot of time to sit, being to yourself and thinking about things, and you start contemplating those things in life. And as you get older, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll be 48 in a few weeks or so, and so as older you get, and I mean, I know there are people who have kids that they say, but who. There ain't nobody around. No women. There's women in my life as friends and stuff, but there's no really woman that I have met that wants things like that, or that different stuff. This next poem is called "Whispering to Me," and I'm trying to get through this book because I really want to finish it. We're almost done. We ain't really got much left, That way you can do Cosmic Beauty next. Start on that next Sunday. She held me close, whispering to me faint words she spoke about love. Words shared between two lovers. It was bliss holding her. Say you love me, she said softly. I got carried away when I told her I was madly in love with a woman who is the brightest light shining in the darkness of my hollow self of a shell, and her light chased away my demons while quenching my spirit with her kisses. And this phrase is a word pump for brightest light. And just figured I'd go with something about going with something where trying to make it a more of a romantic kind of a poem and talk about and dealing about a brightest light kind of thing. This next poem is called Lilac Tulips. She chased golden butterflies, landing on lilac tulips, only to watch them take flight, dancing in the summer sun. It was magic to her watching them climb higher for a blonde-headed girl twirling in the sunshine. Wishing she could fly, she laughed and sung to the butterflies as they drifted closer, only to remain out of reach. She didn't care, they were beautiful, she said, as she lay on the ground watching them float above her, lost in the moment of being young. And this is a word prompt poem for lilac tulips. And I figured I'd just paint a little picture of a little girl being out in the middle of a meadow with butterflies flying around and her just enjoying the moment of being around the butterflies and stuff and being mesmerized by them. This next poem is called Bittersweet Feeling. I wonder what it would be like to taste you. A bittersweet feeling every time we touch. I get lost in the way you glide across the room in the elegant fantasy, imagining you coming towards me. As we sink into the bed, I dream of waking up beside you, letting my fingers feel the heat of your skin. Tracing your form and exploring the beauty of your body isn't mine, but there are times when I want to be the one you hold tightly in the night. When the darkness comes to capture you, soft kisses and mysteries of your body possessions, I desire to unlock them. As you discover mine, all the ones written upon your skin, and the rest buried beneath. I want to know your mind and all the things that make you, all the darkness, rage and pain, happiness and dreams. All the things that tell yourself to help you make it through your day. When I'm not there to snuggle you in my arms. And this is basically about that ship situation on the ship. Cause I kind of got feelings for her. And when you start catching feelings for someone, you really shouldn't catch feelings for her. There you go. You basically have poems written about somebody. But for the most part, I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as a good thing because it gave me inspiration. And in doing some things, there's no combination to unlock these chains. Because I am chained to you. Your memory haunts my dreams. And you rattle those chains every time my mind remembers you. Every link of the chain, the time we shared between locks. And broken pieces of metal strung together by forces of nature. You were too young to comprehend every link. Was something that bonded us together. And I spend many nights counting those links of memories. Like seconds on the clock, how I loved you with all my heart. I know you wouldn't want this, being tied to the memory with a chain and drowning in your lost love. Basically, this poem, I was out at Centennial Park, which is up in Nashville, and going up there and taking pictures, and I happened to come across a bridge, and they have like a rails and stuff. Well, a couple of those rails have a lock on them. Some of the locks are rusty, so I can imagine that somebody would probably chain their bike to it and just forgot or left the lock or whatever. But I've thought about the fact that the rusty lock there with the chains and being chained together, and then how you look at relationships sometimes and being and fashioning that to memories in the chain. So each memory you make is another chain that is created that binds you to a person, good or bad, in how you remember that person. This next poem is called She's All I Want. She's a substance I desire to abuse, coursing through my veins, lingering on my brain. She's all I want just to feel numb. Somehow, I get lost along the way. There's so much in between the rise and fall of the high. I am on when you're near, so I ride along the ways of your words the moment they slide from your soft lips. Because a drug like you is ecstasy being submerged in you. Your legs are a dream I want wrapped around me tightly just to be connected to the source of my addiction. Is it possible to drown in the madness your body creates when I gaze upon a goddess whose freedom from the stone which you were carved makes me wish I could possess a piece of you since you are beyond my touch? And this is basically, I saw a picture of a guy chiseling out um, a figure from marble, and the way that he chiseled it, the way he done it, it has like it's like veiled and like lace or something, and it's so sheer that you can see the figure through it, even though it's made out of marble. And it's just fascinating to see how the skill of an impression of that. So I wanted to make that into something here in a way. But I also talked about how um, a woman can, or a person can be your addiction, because you're addicted to their touch, their taste, their infractions, their intellectual their mind and different things. So yeah, and we still have some pages left, so I may end up cutting it off at shortly because no one that much long video, but so I'll probably go 2 more poems. Sparkling jewels shimmer along the surface, deep or shallow. They move with the wind across a smooth plane of grass, silver lights gleaming in the sun's delight, casting reflections back to the stars. Diamonds crush upon the water's edge, exposing rock to washing away dust, dulling the surface of jewels. This poem is based on there's a beach, I think it's in either Washington State or Oregon State, where people have thrown so many bottles into the ocean. Those bottles broke, and they come back as rocks that or shiny rocks that basically are lining the coast. And I was thinking about that when I created this poem, because I thought it was beautiful but messed up, if you understand. So the last poem right here is called Laced Satin. Laced satin wrapped, wreathed with a yellow center, delicate petals but strong enough to hold and cradle a bumblebee as they caress each other in their embrace. And this is basically about a daisy, and how the petals are, how the petals are shaped and everything, and how they're they're delicate, but they're strong enough to support the weight of a bumblebee or honeybee or whatever. So here's my spill. Okay, my second children's book is out. Definitely check it out. Life of Penguins. Over on Amazon, or you can DM me to get a copy. I will be at Wine and Poetry in Nashville. It's in the event stain and the on this link on Tuesday. Thursday, Island Vibes in Nashville on 1314 Antioch Pike. I will be at the First Friday Art Crawl in Franklin between 4th and Main Street on Friday. And I will have to see what I'm doing on Saturday and Sunday, but I would definitely let y'all know. But definitely come out and see me, get some books. Love y'all. Take it easy. Check out my friends. Check out their links. Check out everything. Check out my friend Dwight. He just posted some videos. He just wrapped up some stuff with baseball and with the Supersonics for that. He's trying to wrap up some stuff with Madden, so definitely check him out. Check out my friend Sarah Aikenhead and Bill Rolland Miller. They on the Casting to the Fire podcast. They are a wonderful group of people. They haven't done anything lately, but definitely check it out. They have a broad library. Check out my friend Jenna Jinks. Check out my friends Aria Simmons, Alberta, and for Reiki, and Brian too. Check, just give them a check, give them a like out. Give them a like. Hell, man, it'd be worth following them. But other than that, take care. Have a good one. I will see you next Sunday. Have a good day.